Yo, how's it going everyone? It's me, Arctic. Today's video, we're going to be going over a complete build guide for Yoimiya. I will be talking about her sub-DPS capabilities, but also her main DPS on-field capabilities, and also how good her charge attacks could potentially be. Over artifact choice and weapon choice for this character, to help you guys make the best decision when you're building your Yoimiya. New to the channel, I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers, so if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be nice. Anyway, let's get back to the video. First thing we gotta know about Yoimiya is whether or not this character is a DPS or a sub-DPS. Now, Yoimiya's burst ultimate is basically that of a sub-DPS, and her auto attacks when she activates her E is mostly a main DPS type ability. The stats, what we're looking at is a base attack of 323, which is pretty good. Also a crit rate substat, which is going to be nice, so you can choose more crit damage focused weapons or attack percentage focused weapons over crit rate on your character. And so this is going to make it very nice for certain weapons that we're going to choose today. As you can see, her elemental skill right here puts her in this state, which gives her a boost to her normal attack damage for 10 seconds. And so what you're going to use this mostly for is on-field main DPS. However, when she activates her ult, this will basically place a bunch of markers on enemies. And what this will do is whenever you attack it, it's going to actually trigger this little explosion right here. And this will do explosions every 2 seconds, so this is a sub-DPS ability. Now, passive talents to keep in mind, and also the builds that we're going to keep in mind with these passive talents. The first passive talents, during the Tenka Fire Dance, which is the elemental skill, normal attack hits increase your pyro damage bonus by 2%, and that effect lasts for 3 seconds and can have a maximum of 10 stacks. So basically, you're able to stack this up to 20% damage whenever you get the max stacks on this. And the second passive, using the burst ultimate, causes nearby party members, not including Yoimiya, to gain 10% attack increase for 15 seconds. Additionally, you get more attack will be added based on the number of stacks of Tricks of the Troublemaker. So basically you're stacking up your hits from your elemental skill, and your auto attacks are going to give you stacks, and then what you're doing is activating your ults, and then you're going to give your team attack, and that's basically going to give them like 20% attack whenever you activate that if you have max stacks from her E. The Stringless is going to be a great weapon to use on Yoimiya. What this weapon does is it increases your elemental skill and elemental burst damage by 24%, along with its elemental mastery substat of 165. Now that's going to basically increase your reaction damage. And so if you are using Yoimiya for a sub-DPS, this could be very nice if you switch to a character like Tartaglia, who has a Hydro application, and that could work very well with Yoimiya. And so this weapon is going to be overall good for a sub-DPS build, and not so much a DPS auto attack build. However, you still will have very good auto attacks thanks to her elemental skill being very good. The Hunter is probably going to be more of a mixture between DPS and sub-DPS kind of weapon, and the reason why I say this is because of its special passive right here. So while the character equipped with this weapon is in the party but not on the field, they get increased damage, stacks up 2% every second up to a maximum of 20%. So when the character is on the field for more than 4 seconds, you lose some of that damage, 4% every second, until it reaches 0. So what you're doing with this is using it to stack up when you're off the field, which is what you're going to do mostly with like a sub-DPS Yoimiya, having Yoimiya off the field most of the time. However, you also can swap into the field basically and do auto attacks for like 4 or 5-ish seconds because you want to maintain your extra burst damage stacks thanks to the passive on this. But this weapon also has a very high base attack, so it's going to factor in very nicely with an overall Yoimiya build. And also it comes with attack percent, so you can focus more in on a crit damage, or stuff like energy recharge, that kind of stuff if you want to keep your burst up more. And so overall this weapon can be used as both a sub-DPS weapon and a main DPS weapon. I think this is probably going to be one of the best weapons to actually use on Yoimiya in terms of gameplay wise. You won't be able to stay in your E for the whole 10 seconds. However, it's going to give you a lot of burst damage and very good for just in general builds. The Blackcliff Warbow is going to be an excellent main DPS option for Yoimiya. This comes with a passive that whenever you defeat enemies, you're going to be gaining 12% attack for 30 seconds. You can get up to 3 stacks on this. It shouldn't be that hard to get stacks of this if you just kill a few hilly trolls or something like that. or use Yoimiya to do most of your main DPS small adds, and that can end up working like that. This comes with a high base attack of 565, and also comes with some crit damage, so you can basically get a lot of crit damage. Since Yoimiya does have a crit rate ascension stat, this is going to be very nice, because what it ends up doing is giving you a lot more rounded out damage just based off of this, and then you can like focus in on a crit damage hat as well, because you don't necessarily need as much crit rate as you would if she didn't have a crit rate substat. Crescent could be a pretty decent option for Yoimiya. The reason why I say this is because whenever you're hitting charge attack hits on weak spots, it's going to give you some extra attack increase, which attack increase is going to be very nice on Yoimiya. And so if you are going for like reaction damage, I think Yoimiya is going to be very good for like reaction with her bow, similar to how much damage you can get from a reaction on Tartaglia. However, this one is also going to give you some increased attack, so then your auto attacks are going to do a lot more damage anyway. It does come with an attack percent base stat, which is going to be very nice just because with attack percent you can pretty much round out your whole entire build, and so that'll work very nicely for pretty much main DPS Yoimiya slash like partial charge attack usage Yoimiya. This is probably going to be one of the best options for DPS Yoimiya, and this increases your normal attack damage by 40%, which is where most of Yoimiya's damage comes from. Don't worry too much about the charge attack damage decrease, it's only by 10%, which it really isn't too much. It's a very good trade-off for the amount of normal attack damage you get. This also comes with an attack percent substat, which is going to be very nice. If you have higher refinements of this, you're going to be able to get up to 80% extra attack damage added on top of the elemental skill attack damage for her auto attacks that you're already going to be getting. Hunt is going to be an excellent sub DPS option. The reason behind this is because since this does come with a crit rate substat, you're going to be able to get up to about 50% crit rate just naturally off of Yoimiya's Ascension and also this weapon. And so basically that's going to give you about 50% crit rate. And also the passive on this one is pretty good also. It's going to give you some ad grouping and some extra DPS based on its little skill right here. And so that'll be a very good one. Now this one is the Battle Pass one, so it is a little bit harder to get. Hopper is going to be a great option for both DPS and sub DPS Yoimiya. This increases your crit damage by 20%, and also it comes with a crit rate substat. That's going to get you about 50% crit rate with Yoimiya's stuff. It has a very high base attack of 674, and what that's going to allow you to do is stack a bunch of attack percentage over not as much crit rate and crit damage. You won't necessarily need that much of that. Attack percent is what's going to actually get your attack and damage out quite a bit. This bow is going to be pretty decent on Yoimiya as well. What you can end up doing is going for like reactions with your Yoimiya with her charge attacks, and so since this one increases like your normal and charge attack damage by 12%, it's also going to be very good on Yoimiya because you're going to be getting a lot of normal attack damage on this as well. And also if you're pretty far away from enemies, you get an extra 8% damage every 0.1 seconds the arrow is in flight, up to 5 times. So this guy is actually very good, especially if you have higher refinements. This could be an extremely good weapon on Yoimiya. With attack percent, so it's going to take care of most of your attack percent needs, which is going to be extremely nice as well. Elegy of the End is going to be great for sub DPS Yoimiya. And the reason behind this is because of its passive. It's going to increase like your attack percent and also elemental mastery, which is going to be very nice for doing reactions with your burst, and so that'll basically increase out your burst damage a lot. This also comes with an energy recharge stat up to 55%, and what that's going to basically do is give you a lot more burst uptime, and so this weapon is going to work very good on a sub DPS Yoimiya. Player bow is going to be one that is coming out in update 2.0 within Azuma. Now the base attack on this one actually did get changed from 41 to 42, so that gives it a 510 base attack, so that's very nice. This also comes with an attack substat, which is going to be very nice as well. And since this is a craftable weapon, if you've saved up your prototype for bows, this could actually be a very good option to use on Yoimiya. It increases your normal attack damage by 16% at R1 up to 32%, and then whenever you get your energy reaches 100%, it's increased by 100%. So basically you get 64% auto attack damage instead of 32%. However, a R5 Rust is still going to be better at this for auto attack damage, but this also increases your charge attack damage by 24% and 48% when you have your burst ultimate full, so this effectively can be like a mini Amos bow if you think about it. Pulse is going to be the banner weapon for Yoimiya. Now this one's pretty much tailored towards Yoimiya in general, and so it increases your attack by 20%, and then you get stacks whenever you do each of these three things. Whenever your normal attacks hit, you get a stack. And then whenever you cast your elemental skill, that gives you a stack for 10 seconds. And if your energy is less than 100%, you get a stack on this as well. Now these three are separate from each other, so you only get one normal attack damage stack, and you only get one elemental skill stack, and you only get one elemental burst stack. And so this is going to fit very well with Yoimiya's playstyle, and so this gives you up to an additional 40% normal attack damage on what this does. It comes with crit damage as a substat, so it's going to be very, very good for Yoimiya as well. You're going to get lots of extra damage on this just because you're going to be critting all the time anyway. Wanderer's Troop could be a pretty good option if you are going for charged attack damage with Yoimiya. Now I would use this on like if you have like an Amos bow or something. It's going to increase your charge attack damage by 35%, and it also gives you increased elemental mastery by 80%. And so what that's going to do is that if you are going for like melt reactions with Yoimiya, which I think is going to be a pretty good option, like especially if you have a Ganyu and you're pairing it up with Ganyu, this could be a very good option for boosting out some of your reaction damage. You could get a large amount from that. Crimson Witch of Flame set is going to be very good in general for Yoimiya. Flames is a good set for Yoimiya. It's basically going to increase your pyro damage by 15% and also increases like your reaction damage. It's not necessarily a good 4-piece for sub DPS. However, the 4-piece is going to be pretty decent for like main DPS, that kind of stuff. And so I would recommend using this set. This Oblige set is probably going to be the most consistent and best for sub DPS Yoimiya. And the reason behind this is because you're basically going to increase like your whole party's attack based on your casting your elemental burst. And so this will be a pretty good set to use on Yoimiya. Now, similar to how you would use a Ganyu with like a Zhongli, for example, you can use the Retracing Bullseye set. And this will basically give you some more consistent normal and charged attack damage whenever you're inside of a shield. Now this is normal and charged attack damage, so this is also going to help out Yoimiya's like auto attack damage. So this will be very good if you're pairing it up with the Zhongli. So this is pretty much a main DPS kind of set right here. The new sets that could be very good for Yoimiya is this set, the Reminiscent set. And so what this does is give you attack percent as the 2-piece, and it's going to be very nice for boosting out your overall damage. And also when you cast your elemental skill, if the character has 15 or more energy, they lose 15 energy, but their normal and charged and plunging attack damage is increased by 50% for 10 seconds. So this set right here is going to literally be the best thing for DPS Yoimiya in terms of auto attack damage. If you can't maintain your energy up for a sub DPS Yoimiya, I would not recommend using this weapon. However, if you do spec into a little bit of energy recharge with your substats, if that ends up happening, what you can do is you can use this set to actually boost out some of your main damage. And so also keep Yoimiya's burst below full if you actually pop into her with it full and you are using like the new bow for her. Because you want to make sure you have all three of your stacks to get the most auto attack damage. And so this set actually could fit very well with that. I'm actually going to do a quick calculation here to see basically how much bonus damage you can get on Yoimiya's auto attacks. And so let's see. So her skill gives like about 150% at like level 8. Plus, if you end up using like a Rust or something, like you could get 80. But since we are thinking about using the best weapons in slot for Yoimiya, doing is like using, if you have like the 3 stacks on the her weapon, basically you're gonna get like 40% damage off at that. But let's just say 80% because I think that's what it would be with like an R5 of the new weapon as well. It'll be similar to like a Rust as well. But then we also have a bonus from this, so that's another 50%. So that's like 280% extra bonus damage for auto attacks. That's basically like insane, like crit damage, whatever. Plus if you're adding like another 60 something% on this just from like using a pyro goblet, something like that, you're going to be getting like a lot of bonus damage on this. And then you also have to factor in your crit rate and crit damage. Probably the best set for actual sub DPS Yoimiya is going to be the Seal of Insulation set. And this one increases your energy recharge by 20%, so you can keep your burst up pretty fast. And also can increase your elemental burst damage by 30% of your energy recharge. And you get a maximum of 75%. I think this is actually in the actual release, it's going to be 25%. So you need 300% energy recharge to actually get the maximum of 75% damage bonus. But this could be very good for her burst damage in general if you do spec into a sub DPS Yoimiya, so this is going to be very good. And that's basically it for Yoimiya. Yoimiya can basically be used as like both a sub DPS and main DPS at the same time. However, you can go either extreme. You can either go to total spec into main DPS Yoimiya and like just pop around the field, do tons of damage and swap off. Or you can basically use her as a complete sub DPS and actually get lots more damage from a sub DPS role. It depends on how you want to play Yoimiya. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys next time. Farewell.